So, you want to live near Detroit, but not in Detroit? Maybe you work in the city, or maybe you just like to visit the city a lot. In any case, you need to move to one of these places in the Woodward Corridor. The Woodward Corridor is a collection of cities that runs 27 miles from the center of Detroit all the way to Pontiac. Now, where you live along the Woodward Corridor, it all depends on a few different things, mainly budget. The first stop on our trip out of Detroit is Ferndale, Michigan. Now, this city is 3.9 square miles. It's not really huge, and the average income of the residents is about $50,000 a year. If you make about that, it might be a good spot for you. But let's see. The average house in Ferndale will set you back about $177,000, so it's not terribly expensive. There's a lot of events that happen there, and a lot of affordable housing. A little over 20,000 people call Ferndale their home, and it could be the spot for you. The national average for homes is about $230,000. It's 177 here, so it's less than the national average, but it's a little bit more than Michigan's average of about 150. Back in 2017, the average price was $131,000 in Ferndale, and it has gone up substantially in the past couple of years. That's a $40,000 jump if you would have purchased a house just a few years ago. I remember saying to a number of people, you should invest in Ferndale. Some people didn't listen, some people did. Congratulations to those who did. One of my favorite things is they have the Ferndale patio zone, so it's an outdoor drinking zone. You can just go to some of the bars there, buy a drink, walk around, drink them outside. That's pretty cool. I like when downtowns have a social scene. Next up on our list is Hazel Park, Michigan. It's called the Friendly City. Yeah, everyone here is really friendly. That's their motto. It's not really on Woodward, it's just to the right of Ferndale. It was originally part of Royal Oak Township. They named a school district in Royal Oak Township, Hazel Park School District, and then it just sort of became its own city. I actually think they named it because of the abundance of hazelnut bushes in the area. That's a true story. Nut Bush City. What do you think? You think that sounds good? I don't know, it sounds kind of weird to me. I feel like hazelnuts are like the nut equivalent of pumpkin spice. They stick them in everything. I liked them for a while, now not so much. I wonder if there were a bunch of ferns in Ferndale and that's why they named Ferndale. If you know, let me know in the comments. Hazel Park residents have an average income of $31,000, so less than Ferndale. Remember, Ferndale is like 50-ish, and the average house here will set you back about $76,000. It's not right off the main drag. It's a little bit set back, but this might be the most affordable place to live on this list. If you want to live close to Detroit and don't have a lot of money, the cost of a home here is like half of what the average is in Michigan. Not like a lot of the other places later on in this list, which get bananas. 3 times cheaper than the national average to live here. Only about 16,000 people call Hazel Park their home, and you could be one of them. Next stop is Pleasant Ridge, Michigan. I feel like Pleasant Ridge would be named the Friendly City, because it's pleasant, right? Pleasant Ridge, Pleasantville, Pleasant Town. So, this city is freaking tiny. It's super tiny. It's 0.57 square miles. It's not even a full square mile, and a little over 2,500 people call Pleasant Ridge their home. Not very much space, not a lot of people. Pleasant Ridge is definitely going to go into my list of hidden gem cities in Michigan or Metro Detroit. I should actually make a video about the hidden gem cities in Metro Detroit, Michigan. Future Dale, make a video about hidden gem cities in Metro Detroit, Michigan. Hope I watch this later. I remember and then I make the video. Feels so Back to the Future, right? Talking to myself, later on in the future. The average home here in Pleasant Ridge will set you back about $340,000, and the average resident makes about $100,000 a year, so it's more expensive than the last 2 places we visited on this list. The cost of living here, if we're looking at 100 being the average, is 116. So if you're just looking at a scale, it's more expensive to live here than most places in Michigan. Niche.com, which I love, ranks Pleasant Ridge as the #2 best place in Michigan to retire. If you're just ready to sit back, relax for the rest of your life, don't go to Florida, go to Pleasant Ridge. The whole feeling of Pleasant Ridge is sort of like a big neighborhood. It's like a close-knit community vibe, and I think that's why a lot of people like to live there. And if you think about how many people live there, and you think about Comerica Park, which is in downtown Detroit, Comerica Park seats 41,000 people, and there are 2,500 people who live in the entire city of Pleasant Ridge. You can fit the population of Pleasant Ridge into Comerica Park 16 times. So if you want to move to Pleasant Ridge, it will not be very easy right now. Right now, today, there are only 6 homes available in Pleasant Ridge because, again, there's not a lot of houses. Not in a very big spot. And they all range from about 350,000 to 900,000. So, be ready to pay for it, but it'd be a cool spot. Next stop on the list is Huntington Woods, Michigan. 8K homes. Cities get these nickname motto things. I think it's cool, but only some of them have. We should just collectively come together and make up some mottos for some cities who don't have mottos of their own. But seriously though, the city of homes just seems like a lazy thing to name a city. Of course there's homes there. Most of these houses were built in the 20s to the 60s, so there's not a ton of new construction going on here. City of homes, older homes. Now, if you were taking a look at the nightlife in Huntington Woods, it would probably get a 0 because there's no bars or nightclubs or anything there. Unless a tiger or a lion got out of the zoo, then it would get tense because then it would get real exciting real fast. The average home price here is about $360,000 to $370,000. It's not super cheap, but it's not crazy expensive yet. And about 98% of the residents here are owners. They don't rent, they own their places. It's not really a great place to have a rental. Again, niche.com calls this city the best place or one of the best places to raise a family. So, you want to raise a family? Why not move here? Let me know. I'll help you find a house. Right now, currently on the market, there are only 8 homes available in the entire city, and those range from $270,000 all the way up to about $600,000. Again, I know I keep saying it, but it's not super cheap, but not crazy expensive. Next stop is Royal Oak, Michigan. I love Royal Oak. It's an amazing city. You've got older homes, you've got condos, you have sort of a mix of everything into a pretty big city. The population here is about 59,000 and some change. You've got more people packed into this city, more people, more stuff to do, things like that. People just sort of gravitate towards it. The median age here is about 36 because again, there's a lot of stuff to do. So people are like, hey, if I'm not gonna live in Detroit, I'm gonna just travel out a little bit, and they hit Ferndale or they hit Royal Oak. Depends on your budget. Back in 2017, the average home price here in Royal Oak was $191,000. Fast forward to today, the average home price is $247,000. So it just keeps going up, and I don't see it going down anytime soon, unless they just shut down downtown or something, which I don't think is going to happen. I think it's just going to keep getting crazier. If you have kids, the schools always rank really high. They've got a crazy number of city parks, like 50. The Detroit Zoo is here, or kind of. I mean, the entrance to the zoo is here in the parking lot, but the majority of the zoo is not in Royal Oak. But whatever, I'm splitting hairs here. You've got one of the best downtown scenes in the state of Michigan, period. I don't care who you are, it's true. Royal Oak, amazing. We got bars, you've got shops, you've got nightclubs, condos. It's so cool. And as of 2021, Royal Oak actually approved a downtown social district where you can go and walk around and have drinks like some of the other cities on this list, which is awesome. A few other cities that are doing this, like Clarkston, Northville, Farmington, Ferndale, Holly, Lake Orion, and even Pontiac, all have little downtown social scenes where you'll hang out. Currently on the market, there are 190 homes for sale in Royal Oak, Michigan. So, the other ones with 10 houses for sale, 190 here. Good chance you can find a house in Royal Oak. And the prices are ranging from anywhere from a $70,000 condo to a house that's $1.2 million. Small budget, big budget, whatever works for you. You know that song. Royal. That comes into my head every time I think about Royal Oak. Every time. That should be the theme song, I think. Next stop, Berkeley, Michigan. Burke, Big Burke. This is actually right next to Royal Oak. If you're looking at a map, Royal Oak, Berkeley, right there, side by side. Now, if you do a little digging online, you will see a lot of experts say that it is the best place to buy a house near Detroit in Michigan, period. Anywhere. It's close to downtown Detroit and it's close to Royal Oak, and the prices are reasonable here. You could buy a house for about $200,000 to $220,000 all day. Stretch those dollars. The city of Berkeley was actually planned as an inner ring suburb of Detroit, so it was sort of structured like a wheel almost. It's like a grid pattern. The typical lots there are really small, so you've got 0.14 acre lots, tiny. The people who live there really like it because they think that it fosters a tight-knit community type feeling because, you can just reach out and poke your neighbor. You shouldn't, but you could in Berkeley. If you want space, Berkeley probably isn't for you. But if you want to be part of a big community, then yeah, move there. And if you don't have a huge budget, perfect. Fun fact, long before the city was actually formed, explorers thought that this whole area was uninhabitable because of all the trees, and it was just swampland. And they were like, We could never build anything there. Next stop on our list is Birmingham, Michigan, one of my favorite cities in the state, period. Probably talk about it too much. Easily one of the best places to live near Detroit. And you've got about 21,000 people packed into a city that's only about 5 square miles. Everything about this place is amazing. The community, amazing. The downtown, amazing. The schools, amazing. The location, unbeatable. The only real drawback to living in Birmingham is the price to live in Birmingham. This little side note, like it's really freaking expensive to live there. The average cost of a home in Birmingham, Michigan is $550,000. That's average. That's double the national average. And most of the homes for sale here and that sell here are over $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, $5 million. You name it, in the millions. The most expensive home on the market right now in Birmingham is $6.5 million. It's custom built and it is a masterpiece. Actually, there are 2 drawbacks to living in Birmingham. I'd take back what I said before. The price to live there and the lot sizes. It's a lot like some of these other communities around here, and the lot sizes are just dinky. They're small. Find like a 0.5 acre lot, and you could sell that thing for like $500,000 just for the land. I mean, it's crazy. And if you can afford it, just buy a place here. I actually made an entire video about all the pros and cons of living in Birmingham, and you can check it out on my channel. Next stop, Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Bloomfield Hills is the perfect place for anybody that can afford Birmingham, but wants more space, or at least bigger lots. Now, it's roughly the same size as Birmingham, but there's only 5,000 people that live there, instead of Birmingham's 21,000. And that's because the lots are bigger. When you have bigger lots, less houses, that's just the way it works. Math. Bloomfield Hills was actually a farming community until wealthy residents of Detroit bought up the land and decided to turn it into some fancy estates. If you want to buy a house here, the average house is about $500,000. I say average, but really it just goes up from there. Remember, that's home, so you can't just reach out and touch your neighbor's face. Right now, the cheapest home, better yet, the least expensive home in Bloomfield Hills right now is $525,000, cheapest one on the market. And the rest of them are all $700,000, go up to like $6 million-ish plus. Bloomfield Hills actually ranks as one of the top 5 wealthiest cities in the United States. I actually made a video all about the wealthiest suburbs or cities around Metro Detroit, Michigan. Be sure to check it out. Next up is Bloomfield Township. This city actually wraps around Bloomfield Hills like a hand in a ball. There are actually 2 Bloomfield Townships in Michigan. One is in Huron County, and that's not this one, and the other one's here in Oakland County. We're talking about the Charter Township of Bloomfield in Oakland County, Michigan. It feels like all wordy, very wealthy. This is not a cheap place to live, but it is 26 square miles, and there's a lot of homes to choose from. That is a way bigger city than a lot of the other places on this list. The other cities are like 5 miles each, this one's 26. It's crazy, way bigger. One thing that I really like about this city is that the lot sizes are bigger than places like Birmingham, Royal Oak, Ferndale, and all those other places. So, you can get a bigger lot, but you're gonna pay for it. The average house here has a 0.5 acre lot. You can fit 5, maybe like 3, maybe 4 of the Birmingham lots into one of these. People love big lots, especially if you have kids. Not big lots the store, I mean maybe they do, but I'm talking about big lots, a lot of land. There are some sites out there that say that this city is the #1 place to raise a family in Metro Detroit, Michigan. Bold statement to make. Next stop is Pontiac, Michigan, the Yak. T-shirts out there say Yaktown, don't back down. Up until now, we were steadily climbing in property values, but now it just fell off the cliff. The average home in Pontiac, Michigan is $40,000. Think about that. Detroit was like 177. Ferndale was 131. It's like Detroit prices, but like way more property, more land, just more stuff. You might get shot, but it's cheap. I'm just kidding. Well, sort of. If you're thinking about moving to Pontiac, just be very careful. Do your research. Don't move to Pontiac and expect great things to happen. And if you do move there, maybe just move for a year or 2 and then move somewhere else. Those are some of the best places to live near Detroit. So, what do you think? Did I miss any? Let me know in the comments.